доповідали щодо застосування українських ракет довгого Нептуна, можна сказати, задоволені результатами уражень.
The United Kingdom and France have the Storm Shadow and Scalp donated to Ukraine, while Germany and Sweden have the Taurus in their inventory, so far withheld from Kiev. The United States is talking about supplying JASSM cruise missiles. But does Ukraine have a famous and successful long-range missile like these? The most recent type to come to the fore on the Ukrainian side was the Neptune missile. The Neptune missile is Ukraine's masterpiece, which gained notoriety with the shooting down of Russia's flagship cruiser Moskva, and was most recently heard of again in the attacks on the Russian bomber base in Engels. The Neptune is part of Ukraine's growing arsenal of homemade munitions, aimed at strengthening its deep strike capabilities with missiles and drones. Kiev has used its arsenal to strike key Russian airfields, ammunition storage depots, and energy facilities. In the early days of Russia's full-scale invasion, Ukraine unearthed Neptune missiles to hit high-value Russian targets, including the cruiser Moskva, the flagship of the Black Sea Fleet. The missile was also used to attack high-level air defense batteries and oil terminals. Now, a new variant of this missile is emerging. Ukraine has developed a new version of its Neptune cruise missile for longer-range strikes, expanding the country's deep strike arsenal. The new model is claimed to have a range of up to 621 miles, an astonishing new range rating, given that the improved Neptune can hit targets at a depth of up to 1,000 kilometers. This allows Ukraine to create a kind of gray zone within a radius of about 300 kilometers on the territory of the Russian Federation. With this feature of the missile, no airfield, tactical, or strategic aircraft will be able to safely deploy in this area, which will significantly limit the Russian military's ability to use cab bombs. We will now take a closer look at the new variant of Neptune with these critical implications. We will find out in which recent attacks this missile has been used and what the future holds for Ukraine. But first of all, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel, turn on notifications, and give us a like so that you can stay up to date with our content. Let's take a look at the long-range variant of Neptune, Ukraine's new favorite. Ukraine has already been working on the new missile for some time. Last year, Ukrainian Defense Minister Rustem Umerov announced that the serial production of Neptune missiles had been expanded and upgraded to strike at longer ranges. Previously, the ammunition could hit targets more than 200 miles away. Now, with the new type of Neptune, its range exceeds 600, which is incredible. The long Neptune missile is a larger version of Kiev's R-360 Neptune anti-ship missile, a subsonic truck-launched munition that Ukraine has previously modified to hit land targets. It was built by Ukrainian defense manufacturer Luch Design Bureau. The country says it has also previously used this new long-range variant against Russia. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said in a statement that the country had received important news about its missile program, in particular that the long-range Neptune had been tested and successfully used in combat. Media sources close to Kiev said the long Neptune missile was used last weekend to hit an oil refinery in Tuapse, Russia, about 300 miles from the front line. It was one of Ukraine's latest attacks, targeting Moscow's energy sector, as Kiev seeks to deprive its neighbor of critical revenue. In Tuapse, a tank oil depot containing about 20,000 tons of gasoline caught fire after the Neptune missile strike. The refinery attack raises the stakes for Russia's oil industry, an important export revenue that keeps the economy afloat. Ukraine has been targeting Russian refineries, pipelines, and pumping stations with drones for months, leading to reports that Russia has taken about 10% of its refining capacity offline. The last such success in Tuapse was made possible by Neptune missiles. A video that has surfaced about this attack proves that the Ukrainians used Neptune missiles. Judging by the video, this clearly does not look like a drone strike. First of all, a drone strike does not produce such a strong primary sound wave, and its power is clearly much higher than that produced by a 40 to 70 kilogram warhead. Secondly, the full detonation of everything happened immediately and simultaneously. Both the explosive component of the weapon and the contents of the fuel tank were targeted. During the attack of a smaller warhead, the reverse process occurs. We can see a slight explosion, followed by the explosion of the contents of the tank, followed by the burning of the fuel contents, but here the situation is very different. So all the information suggests that it was the new Neptune missile that shook Tuapse. The new Neptune seems to have scared the Russians. According to the spokesman for the Ukrainian Armed Forces Navy, third-rank Captain Dmytro Pletenchuk, no Russian ships have been seen deployed in the Black Sea for several days. The last time this missile was used, as we mentioned, was in the case of the Russian bomber base in Engels. The Ukrainians are alleged to have used Neptune missiles there as well. Although no details have been officially released about the Long Neptune, this missile is truly unique. First, Europe has no homegrown weapon of a similar class. Second, unlike the American Tomahawk, to which it has already been compared, the Neptune can be launched not only from sea and air platforms, but also from a land platform. Third, Neptune is capable of fulfilling the roles for which ATACMS or Storm Shadow are being considered, but without requiring permission from partners for its use. Moreover, it has extended ranges. News that the Kiev-based design bureau Luch had started development of the Long Neptune missile appeared in late 2023. At the time, Ukrainian Deputy Defense Minister Lieutenant General Ivan Havrilyuk reported that work was underway on a new modification of the Neptune missile, but refused to provide details. More than a year has passed, and now we see the president of Ukraine, Long Neptune, being successfully used in combat. Roman Svitin, reserve colonel of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, explains that it is technically possible for Neptune to exceed a range of 1,000 kilometers. In the basic configuration, the engine runs smoothly for an hour, allowing the missile to travel at a speed of 850 kilometers. If you add more fuel, the missile is also equipped with an inertial guidance system and a radar homing head that can see targets at a distance of about 20 kilometers, which makes it truly unique. If they are produced in large quantities, this will be a real breakthrough. The word long in its name may indicate that this modification has a significantly longer hull compared to the basic R-360 anti-ship missile from which it is derived. Oleksiy Hetman, a Russian-Ukrainian war veteran and reserve mayor of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, agrees that the Neptune missile has grown in size. Its size has increased due to the addition of more fuel tanks to allow for longer flight distances. The new Neptune is said to retain all the electronic components and the homing head used in the original Neptune configuration, except for the component responsible for flight performance. The expert argued that the new Neptune can carry between 100 and 300 kilograms of explosives, which shows that Ukraine can no longer be limited to targeting oil refineries or ammunition depots. A drone can carry between 10 and 50 kilograms, which means that it is impossible to penetrate a more or less hardened target with a drone. Even if a few fly in, it's like firing a pistol at an armored vehicle. Even if you shoot 10 times, you won't get through. But something more powerful will pass. If the projected performance characteristics of Long Neptune are correct, then this could have a significant impact on the balance and alignment of forces in this battle. And if, as some experts predict, Ukraine will have the opportunity to produce 30 to 60 of these missiles per month this year, this is an even more important detail. As for the missile cost, estimates are approximate. Neptune is usually compared to Tomahawk or Storm Shadow missiles, which cost about $4.5 million per unit. According to my calculations, the Ukrainian missile is much cheaper at about $1.5 million. But with this cost calculation, are 30 to 60 missiles per month too many, too few, or realistic? President Zelensky announced last year that Ukraine could produce up to 3,000 cruise missiles by 2025. It is not yet known whether this includes the Neptune anti-ship cruise missiles, but it is hard not to be impressed by this high production rate. A simple calculation shows that about 8 missiles are produced every day. If Ukraine does indeed achieve this high production rate, it will become a serious factor in deterring Russian aggression. By comparison, Russia is capable of producing about 1 or 2 Caliber cruise missiles per day. This translates into almost 30 to 60 missiles per month and about 365 to 700 missiles per year. The situation is similar for the production of Kh-101 missiles, which are produced at a rate of no more than 2 missiles per day. Even if we combine Caliber and Kh-101s, the combined production rate does not exceed about 1,400 missiles per year, which is less than half of the annual production rate of 3,000 Ukrainian missiles. This large-scale production could dramatically change the balance of power. With this missile production, the Ukrainian wing will not only be able to equalize the number of missile strikes, but also pose a serious threat to Russia's combat infrastructure. Asked whether Ukraine has the capacity to produce 30 to 40 Neptune missiles per month, Anatoly Krepchinsky said that given the current capacities and capabilities of the Ukrainian defense industry, this production rate is quite realistic. However, he noted that component procurement remains a major concern, particularly of engines, navigation systems, and other critical components. It is theoretically possible to produce more missiles, but ensuring the timely delivery of all necessary components remains a limiting factor. There is another consideration. This is the number of launchers. This is why international cooperation is critical. In Europe, Neptune is in fact the only existing surface-to-surface missile with a range of up to 1,000 kilometers that can be launched from land, sea, and air platforms. European countries such as Germany, Poland, and France are only considering the possibility of creating similar systems, and this is still only at the level of discussion without clearly defined deadlines. Europe can play an important role in increasing the production of long Neptune missiles by providing critical components and deploying its own production capacities. Open cooperation in the field of defense technologies could allow Ukraine and its European partners to fully meet each other's strategic needs, from unmanned aerial vehicles to high-precision missile weapons. According to experts, Neptune's technological advantages are better than the Russian Onyx and more promising than the American Tomahawk. The R-360 missile in the Neptune ASCM system has a modern, multifunctional design, fundamentally different from the American Tomahawk missile. Neptune was created to be launched from various platforms. It can be used from land, sea, and air. The Tomahawk, on the other hand, is launched from air platforms, mainly in the sea-launched version and in some modifications. After Russia's illegal annexation of Crimea in 2014, it was obvious that Ukraine, being a maritime country, was in critical need of an indigenous anti-ship missile system. At the time, Ukraine had only the old Soviet-era Rubizh missiles, which were mainly deployed in Crimea and which fell into Russian hands after the occupation of the peninsula. However, Neptune came as a response to this challenge. But even before the completion of the Neptune test program, it faced a wave of criticism from individual experts who insisted that Ukraine should focus on buying foreign-made equivalents. And this backlash prevented the completion of the Neptune program. It was only in 2022 that the Neptune system realized its enormous potential. Now, as we mentioned, this missile has become one of Russia's worst nightmares. The R-360 missile has always caused concern in Russia because of its high performance. It is significantly more effective than most of Russia's subsonic cruise missiles and is resistant to interception by Russian air defenses. This was confirmed at Cape Tarkhankut in 2023, and earlier when the missile sank the Russian Black Sea Fleet flagship Moskva in April 2022, and was later deployed to hit Russian ground targets such as the S-400 air defense system. The attack on Tarkankut in 2023 confirmed this fact once again. The S-400 system, which according to the specifications was supposed to be able to intercept threats flying as much as 5 meters underwater, was unable to do so and was destroyed by Neptune. This proved that the missile could hit not only ships sailing in the open sea, but also land targets. The ability to follow the curvature of the terrain while flying at extremely low altitudes was demonstrated at the design and development stage. The Moskva cruiser has long been considered the main mobile air defense capability in the Black Sea and was equipped with the S-300F Fort system, which was supposed to provide echelon defense. However, it was unable to intercept even the R-360 missile in its basic configuration, which can fly at an extremely low altitude of 3 to 10 meters on the terminal approach to the target. None of Russia's air defense systems, including the latest designs, can effectively intercept such threats. Neptune essentially performs the same tasks as the ATACMS or Storm Shadow missiles, but is exempt from the restrictions on its use imposed by Ukraine's partner countries. In addition, when launches are made from a secure area inside Ukraine, the depth of the attack can reach 700 kilometers, which means that not only military facilities near the border areas are potentially under attack, but also production centers, such as rocket manufacturing enterprises in the Moscow region, especially in Korolev, experts say. Russia has already recognized this threat, which is why it is increasingly being forced to deploy its long-range A-50 airborne warning and control aircraft to provide more effective monitoring of its airspace for suspicious activity by foreign aircraft and drones. This significantly limits Russia's ability to use one of its most effective trump cards, the KA-B precision glide bombs. In fact, Ukraine has produced a wide range of weapons that have significantly influenced the course of the war and thwarted Russian bombing raids. On the battlefield, a wide range of unmanned systems, ground, air, surface, and underwater, are used extensively. In addition to precision strike systems, Ukraine has effective reconnaissance, mine-laying, and clearance means. However, their approach to conducting combat operations is undergoing a change. Neptune has an important role to play in this change. The most important advantage of Neptune is that it can be launched from a ground platform without the need for strategic aviation support, which Ukraine currently lacks. When we look at all these features, it becomes clear that Neptune missiles are a game changer, a key component of changing the rules of combat operations that Ukraine is currently practicing. Thank you for watching.